What's up, guys? It's Nicholas Lynn, and today we're going to talk all things video games. So, video games are seen as super controversial, especially whenever you get into the professional field and time management and time wasting and all those different things. And we're going to talk about all that. We're going to address all that. Are video games a time waste? Are they productive? Do you learn? Do you not learn? Are you killing brain cells? We'll get into all of that stuff. But first, I want to step 15 years back to when I first started playing video games. So when I was about 6, 7, 8, around that age, I found miniclip.com, right? And I played all these little mini games on Miniclip, and I fell in love with them. And I just loved the game so much. And then I found a game called RuneScape. So if you guys have played RuneScape, or RuneScape was a huge part of your childhood, then you know your boy got in deep. I played RuneScape like it was no other. And I learned so much from that game. And just to give you a brief overview of what RuneScape is, if you guys haven't ever heard of it, it's an MMORPG, so it's a virtual world where you have a character, and it's open world, so you get to hang out with your friends, fight bosses, get better armor, make money, all that type of stuff. So I played RuneScape for a very long time, and I've actually played it up until I was about 20 years old, and I still sometimes will hop on there randomly. So I've played it, it's been a huge part of my life. But ever since RuneScape, just gaming has been a huge part of my life. Whenever I got to middle school, I was super hardcore into Call of Duty. Call of Duty Black Ops 1, I played that game like no other. Search and destroy, MP5K rapid fire suppressor, it was over. That was my 6th grade year. And then 7th grade, 8th grade year, Gears of War 3, like every other Call of Duty to come out. And then in 8th grade, I built my first gaming computer. So this is where it all goes downhill. Once you get your first gaming computer, everything changes. I was playing video games like no other. And I was introduced to Steam, CSGO, League of Legends. I've basically played every game. World of Warcraft, every single game I've played, right? And then I played a whole lot of League of Legends, pretty much all through high school. League of Legends, 6 hours a day, grinding, just grinding. And I even played video games. Well, I played League of Legends specifically when I got to college. And I actually played on my college's esports, like League of Legends team in the ULOL League. And so League of Legends especially was a huge part of my life for so long. But to wrap things up, I still play a ton of video games. I play a lot of Black Desert Online. I've got this new Call of Duty Warzone that I've been playing. So I spend a decent amount of time on video games, and I have ever since I was 5 or 6 years old. So that's my history with video games. Now let's get into the real juice. Are video games a time waster, right? In my opinion, no. I think that it is another type of passive time entertainment that you can do, just like watching TV, watching movies, but it's a little more addicting than the other things. But I know people who watch Netflix for 8, 9 hours a day. They'll watch multiple movies, and then they're going to sit here and complain about their kids playing video games for 5 hours a day while you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix for 8 hours a day. That doesn't really make sense. And if they're playing video games, they're probably playing with their kids. They're probably interacting online. It's not like they just sit and just play solo and never talk to anyone. Some people do, some people don't. But just make that comparison that playing TV or watching TV and playing video games aren't that different. But like I said, video games can be heavily addicting. I was playing 10, 11 hours a day in the summer, and it was really affecting my mental state. And I'd get into situations where, especially when I was playing competitive League of Legends, if I wasn't doing good or if I wasn't performing, it had a huge toll on my mental. And I remember I would get mad at my friends and mad at my family for no reason because I was getting so into the game. And if I wasn't performing, then I was frustrated. Kind of like how an athlete, if they have a really off season, they're mentally just not going to be there. They're going to be a little off, a little angry all the time. And that's kind of what I was experiencing. But also, that's all I was doing was video games. I wasn't reading. I wasn't pouring into my education. And so that's when it becomes a time waster and a problem that you need to evaluate. But I want to talk about the next question, which is, can we get knowledge and information, and can we learn from video games? And I will claim 100% yes. I've learned so much from video games. I'm going to talk about RuneScape specifically and in finance. So in RuneScape, there is a grand exchange is what it's called, or basically a marketplace, which works a lot like our stock exchange, where you can buy and sell shares, but on RuneScape, you'd buy and sell items. but there were no price restrictions. And so you could list a certain item for 5 million gold or 10 million gold. It didn't matter. All that mattered was someone going to buy it at that price. So I remember as a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, I'd see really, really wealthy people in RuneScape, and I'd always ask them, how do I make money? Do I need to go grind for an hour and kill wolves, or do I need to go bossing for 10 hours? And they just sat there and they always gave me the same response. Merching is what they called it. Or in real life terms, flipping and trading. They were buying items at a low price and selling them for a higher price. And I know you've heard the term with stocks, buy low, sell high. They were essentially doing the exact same thing, but in a virtual game where it was a complete free and open market, zero restrictions by the government or the game moderators. And they were making so much money. And they would literally sit in this grand exchange or the New York Stock Exchange, and they would just trade all day. While I'm sitting here grinding for hours, trying to kill bosses, trying to kill mobs, farm loot, getting tired, working hard to make this money. And they were just sitting there making millions and millions in gold from sitting there. And I finally got explained this when I was about 15, 16. I started to understand the merching game. And I started to do that in RuneScape. And I never got incredible at it because it was really difficult. But they were doing exactly what the rich do in real life. They were buying low and selling high, and they were just using supply and demand. And so I really got introduced to capitalism and finance through RuneScape. And I also learned so many random things about just random things like types of trees and all those different stuff from just RuneScape and different things like that. And I learned teamwork from League of Legends. That is a game where you cannot solo carry. You will not become the greatest if you don't work with the team. And so I really learned how to work with the team, and that's a skill that you need. In a lot of competitive team games, whether that's even just athletic games, soccer, football, or video games, CSGO, League of Legends, Dota 2, and a million others, you have to work with your team to be successful. And that's a big thing that I learned. So now I want to give you my overall outlook on video games. I will play video games probably for the rest of my life, and I've played video games essentially my whole life. I love video games. My friends and I connect over them. My girlfriend and I connect over them. It's just a huge part of our lives, and we enjoy it, but we treat it with limitation. I can't sit there for 10 hours a day and not do anything, right? But let's say I already read half of my book. I made some videos. I did the other things I wanted to do. I'm working as much as I can in a week, and I'm making money, and I'm making good investments, and I feel like everything else is into place. I'm ahead of my schoolwork. Then I have no problem with sitting down for 6 hours and grinding some Call of Duty with the homies. Then that's fine. That's completely fine. If you've done everything first and you have your priorities straight, then it's perfectly fine to go spend your time playing video games. One of the biggest thing that tilts me off the face of this earth is when people view video games as a negative compared to watching TV and movies as a positive or not a negative. Like, this one is deteriorating your brain and this one's doing nothing. I can tell you that I've learned far more off video games, and I've had far more great social memories and social interactions off of video games than I have TV. And maybe I'm biased because I don't really watch TV. And I do watch a lot of movies with my family, with my girlfriend, with my friends, but video games take up a lot of my entertainment time, I'll say. So I think they're a great tool if they're used in moderation, and I don't think they should be viewed as negatively at all. They've played a vital role in shaping me for who I am today and how I interact with people and striving to be the best that I can be. All of this stemmed from video games. And now there's different types of video game players. I'm not going to go into that, but I was the hardcore competitive type. Every game I've played other than like RuneScape and MMOs have been just competitive games, and it strived me to practice and work and learn. And these are real life tools, but here's the catch. You need to transition all of these tools that you're learning through video games into your real life. If you're only going to use your hardworking capabilities and how you can learn so much about a specific video game and get so good at a video game and learn the market in a video game, but not transfer that to real life, then it's a waste of time and you're not really learning anything. You have to transition that into real life. And it's a great usage of time if you're just trying to get entertained for a little bit. But if you devote everything to that, then you're getting a problem. Now, let's say that your dream is to become a professional video game player, because mine was, and that's what I thought I was going to do in high school, and that's why I devoted so much time to video games. Well, once I realized I wasn't going to make it, and once I realized that even if I made it, you have like a shorter career span than people in the NFL. Usually, like the esports career span is like a year max, unless you are just like the best of the best. And I realized it wasn't a good career path for me, so I switched off and I decided that's not what I wanted to do, and I took it for more enjoyment. But guys, video games really are amazing, and they play a huge role in creating who you are, and you can learn so much from them if you choose to do so. So don't spend 10 hours a day on video games and just not getting anything done and not reading and not doing anything that's progressing you financially or progressing your career path or just you as a person. Our number one priority in life is to grow as a person and to become successful for others, for yourself, and just make the world a better place. And I believe that if your priorities are skewed and video games are at number one, then you're not going to be able to do that. Use them in moderation, like enjoy them. They're so much fun. But just remember what comes first, and that's real life. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you could leave a like and subscribe and comment down below, I'd really appreciate it. Let me know what you thought about this. What did you think about me talking about video games? What do you think about video games? Do you think they're a time waste, or do you see a difference between watching TV and playing video games? Let me know down below, but thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great week.